Hey, what's up? This is Chris on the longest way, aka Chris with the oily face. And I'm stranded in Georgia, not the state. Though I've been looking for the Coke Museum here forever. No, I'm in the country of Georgia. It's in the Caucasian Mountains. Turkey is to the west, Armenia is to the south, Azerbaijan is to the east, and Russia is to the north. Somehow everybody here is a Caucasian. And I'm stranded. I've been stranded here for a few months now. The original plan was to just stay 3 months and then go back to Turkey to continue walking. But then Covid-19, Corona happened, and now I've been stuck here. And it's not the worst place to get stuck in. I gotta say that. Especially during this crisis. I've been pretty impressed. Georgia, apparently, so far, has been among the countries in the world that has been handling this corona crisis well. Not the best, but among the best. They have, or we have, less than 800 cases, like 700 something. Among those 700 something cases right now, about 450 have already been discharged of the hospital. They're healthy again. And they have a total number of 12 deaths. That doesn't mean, like in many countries, you might think, okay, so they're not testing. They are testing. They've been testing for a long time and lots of tests. They have a lab here, an American-sponsored lab. It's called the Luger Lab, if I'm not mistaken, a research facility. $300 million went into it like 10 years ago, back during a time when America wasn't America first. And soft power still meant something. So America sponsored this lab, this research facility. And ever since then, Russia has been waging disinformation campaigns. Like, ooh, it's the CIA. Ooh, they're testing bioweapons, blah, blah. And now this lab, this American-sponsored lab, has really helped Georgia. Doing lots of testings, fast testing, reliable testing. And the situation has been handled really well. I understand when I talk to Georgian people, lots of people don't like the current government. They think, among many things, they think they're corrupted. They think they might be a little bit too pro-Russian. They might be just stupid. They might be populists. They might be, borderline dictatorial. They have lots of issues and grievances with the government. But this particular crisis, this corona crisis, has been handled pretty well. From what I know, and my observations might not be absolutely accurate, but I'll share them with you anyway. From what I've heard, Georgia shut down the borders to visitors from China very early. Like there was a high level of vigilance. Like Georgia's government was like, okay, so something is going down in China. Let's screen them. And lots of them, let's not let them get in. I talked to some Chinese people that had been trying to get here from other countries, from Turkey, from some other neighboring countries in January. And they were either turned back or questioned for hours at the border. So like there was this high level of vigilance. Then luck, Georgia doesn't, like it's not on the radar for Chinese business, for Chinese tourism. It's not to say that it doesn't happen, but it happens less than those countries that were like heavily affected, like Italy, France, Germany, Switzerland, America, all places where there's lots of travel from China for various reasons, tourism, business, you name it. But Georgia, not so much. So like one thing is you don't get that much travel from China per se. And then the other thing is the government early on was like, that doesn't look too good. Let's screen them and let's turn them back if we're not sure. So they managed to sort of get the virus into the country at a very late stage when Italy, when France were already blown up. And then once we had the first case, it was a Georgian person that had been to Iran, came back, got screened and had COVID-19. Then it took like maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And the country went into lockdown, complete lockdown, like serious lockdown. Everything closed. Supermarkets still working. They used to work all through the night. Now they would have to shut their doors at 9. Restaurants, many of them closed. Some still could do takeout or deliveries. And all kinds of like bars, venues, shopping malls, movie theaters, everything closed. Lots of businesses doing either home office or not working at all. Like a real lockdown. Even a curfew. We still have a curfew right now. I got to be home at 9. If the police finds me on the road after 9, I got to pay like the equivalent of $1,000, which is a lot of money anywhere, but especially here. The economic situation isn't so good. So really, like, they don't want people outside at night. And at first I was like, that seems pretty drastic. Like, what does that have to do with the virus? Later, somebody else explained to me that probably it's to sort of put less pressure on the police, because right now the police is also looking at gatherings to not have people gather in groups. And they obviously have other tasks as well, the police. So like it would be difficult for them to patrol all through the night and find out if these two young people or whatever are going to somebody else's house for a party. So they would just say, okay, nobody's outside at night, which means the police can some of them can rest at night, some of them do patrols. If there is anybody out at night, there's no question that person has to pay a fine. And it's not going to be like, yeah, the police is like looking at, are these just 2 people? Are they 8 people? Is there a party happening? No party happening. So yeah, and the population, they seem to be pretty cooperative. Like, even though there's Georgians, from my observation, seem to be pretty, let's say, liberal-minded in a way that they don't like to be told what to do, especially not by the government. They like to have their freedoms. They like to protest. They like to make a stink. But during this crisis, even though like lots of people have been saying like, oh, like there's a conspiracy, it's that the virus is American made or it's Russian made or whatever, but there has been a sense of cooperation. When I go to the supermarket, everybody inside has a face mask. On the street, I would say here in the capital, in Tbilisi, I would say it's about 70%, maybe 60% of people are always wearing a face mask. I don't know if you get that kind of numbers in Germany, where I'm from, which is, it's kind of sad. But, so it's about 700 cases in total, of which 450 cases have already been discharged from the hospital, already good. So you got about 250 active cases, 12 deaths, and yeah, it's looking pretty good. That curfew, they're supposed to lift it, I think tomorrow or something. So like that would mean we could go out at night. And then the government is talking about letting tourists in July. I don't know if that's going to work because, I mean, on the one hand, you need money. On the other hand, how are you going to screen people? Like, you're going to put them in quarantine? You're going to say, hey, come to Georgia and have fun, but stay in that hotel indoors for 2 weeks before you can have that fun. Or you're just going to let them in anyway? I don't know. But so far it's been good. I hang out in my apartment that I'm renting. I play with the cats. I try to stay busy, do stuff, work on my pictures, work on my videos, keep my diary, all that kind of stuff. And I try to come out every day to this hill here. Takes a few hundred steps to get up here, so I get a little bit of exercise. I do my back exercises to stay healthy, and then I chill in my hammock. Yeah, and it hasn't been so bad, I gotta say. I'm stuck here, but it's not the worst place. You guys take it easy. I wish you good health, and I hope we get to see some, first of all, a global recovery, and second of all, some walking and some fun. That would be awesome. Peace.